Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another episode of Lenny's Fishing. So today we're back up Northumberland, but we've gone right up to the north end of Northumberland. So I'm joined today by my good mate Faz, who's just behind us there setting up. Some of you might know Faz from the shop. He's one of my best mates. Fished with him for years and years, but he hasn't been out since the winter time, so I've dragged him out today for a go on the codlins to see if he can get the bug back. I've just finished baiting up my first rig. We've just got Peter crab today, and I'm going to alternate between a J-hook pulley rig with a single hook and obviously a dongle rig as well, like I have been in the past few videos. So we're about 2 hours and 35 minutes away from bottom water. We're going to fish all the way down to bottom, and depending on how the fishing goes and the weather, we'll see what happens for the flood tide. We might move or we might just sack it off because the forecast's quite bad today for heavy rain. But it's not raining yet. It was raining when we've just turned up, but it seems to have stopped and the sun's coming back out. I'm all set up and ready to go. I've got my first rig baited up, so I'll get this clipped on, I'll get chucked out, and then fingers crossed the action's straight away, and we'll go from there. Right, so that's the first bait clipped down, ready to go. And for the first chuck, I'm just going to do an overhead thump because there's still quite a lot of water there. See if we can catch any fish that are close in before they move off in the ebb tide. And as always, rod of choice is the Tronics Pro competition rock. So we'll get this lashed out and see what happens. So just a 50-60 yard lob for the first chuck. Just make sure it's over some heavy ground. Yeah, that's in the rough stuff. And as always, now it's a waiting game. So we'll get the rod down, get the second bait sorted out, and we'll bring it back hopefully when the action starts. Just getting a bite there on the first chuck. See if I can get it in. That was nice and quick. It's only been out a few minutes. It's always a good sign, isn't it? I was just about to get the second bait up started. Hope it's not going to be one of them days where you get loads of erratic bites and then they're just off as soon as they hit it. I think it's going to be one of them days where you get all seasons on the same day as well. I've got sunglasses on at the minute, but I don't think that'll last long. Should see some of the rain clouds that are coming towards us. Yeah, it's there. It feels a bit like a coley, to be honest. It doesn't feel like a codlin bite. Unless it's a wrasse. Very quick, erratic bite. Right, we're in first chuck, so that's a good start. Let's see what we've got. Oh. What is it? Is it a wrasse? It is indeed. So there you go. I was bang on the button with a bite. A nice little ballon wrasse, so that's just popped off the hook there. There you go, first chuck straight away, nice small wrasse. Fingers crossed, I'm happy catching these, and it's good sport when you get the big ones as well. But I hope we don't get absolutely pestered by little wrasse bites all day long. I'll get this fella slip straight back. He'll go off no bother. So just whilst I'm getting this next bait sorted out, I thought I would just go through one of the things someone asked us on one of the previous videos, was just to explain like what a slack line bite is. They obviously didn't know what that was. So basically, a slack line bite is when you get a good pull over from a codlin or just one thump and then your line drops slack. What that basically means is whatever fish it is, usually obviously codlin, but other fish do it as well, is that that fish has picked up your bait and it's basically moved towards you with the lead, which is why it's dropped the line slack. Usually when you get a slack line bite, it tends to be a better sized fish because obviously it's got to be a heavy enough fish to be able to lift your 6 ounce weight or whatever and swim towards you with it. And I'm just getting another bite there as well. Well, this is a good start, plenty of action. Faz was getting a bite there on his first hook as well. Now, so I'm going to get this one whipped in because I'm just worried it might have been stripped by a lobster unless there's something small lying on. Yeah, there's nothing on there, so it must have just been a little lobster plucking away. But in a couple of minutes, find out in a couple of seconds when I get this in and see if there's any bait left on the hook. And then I'm going to move up the scare a little bit because the tide's dropping pretty quick. Yeah, so that bait's been absolutely completely stripped. There's nothing left on the dongle whatsoever. As you can see there, just a tiny little bit of elastic. So that was definitely a lobster. So we'll get chuck number 3 put out, but I'm going to walk up the scare a little bit to the left and just follow it up as the tide drops back. Same again, I'm just going to overhead thump it when I'm going to chuck up the scare and hopefully catch a fish out of running up the scare on the ebb. So I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who's watched the last few videos, and thanks to everyone who liked and subscribed. I really appreciate all the support that I'm getting. And I also wanted to just say, if anyone wants us to go through anything on my videos, whether that be certain information about certain things or tips and tricks and stuff like that, just pop a comment down below and on my next video I'll try and cover them for you, no problem whatsoever. So I don't know if you can tell on the camera, because as I always say, the camera doesn't usually pick up the swell very well. It's a tiny little bit of ground swell just coming around this corner here, because it's coming from the northeast. But we're on a south-facing scare, so that allows the swell to just pass by with, as it's coming from that way over, which is why we haven't gone onto a mark like to the left-hand side of where we are, tucking towards like the northeast. And the theory, or the idea is that any fish that are sitting out there that are looking for shelter from the swell, I want to just lay up on the kelp beds and feed in the flatter water, or come around this bend and just sit up and down here. That's a theory anyway. Whether it's right or wrong, I'm sure we'll find out as the session goes on. Oh, that's a bite. I thought it was just the tide pulling me rod. Just in the middle of baiting up there I was. Oh, I'm not too sure what's happened there. I've got a fish on though, I can feel it banging away. It's stuck. Yeah, I can still feel the fish moving there. Nah, stuck. Right, I'm going to try and ease it out the snag. Obviously if the fish is hooked and I've got a single hook on, it should just be the rotten bottom that's stuck. So with a bit of luck, it'll just ease out without snapping the rig. But it feels very stuck, almost like it's lying over a skier, so I don't want to pull it too hard. I think it'll snap the rig. Yeah, that's absolutely solid that. I'll give it a few minutes in the stand. I very highly doubt that's going to swim its way out of a snag like. I'll get this next bait clipped down and ready to go straight back out. Just glad we're getting a few bites. There's the next bait on the dongle. First fish I had was on the normal J hook. I'm still not entirely convinced by the dongle rigs yet. But as I say, I'm still in the experimental stage. So it's going to take time. Kind of just make my mind up after 1 or 2 sessions. Right, we'll go for the break with this one, see if I can get it out. I do think I'm going to lose the lot though. I'm getting it like, but there's no fish on. I must have pulled its head off. Hey, never mind. You cannot win them all. Just get this dragged straight in and get the next bait put out. I've actually lost my hook there. It's actually snapped an 80-pound hook snood about 6 inches away from where it was originally, so I knew it was tied around something. You can actually see it's been splintered when it's snapped. You'll probably not make it out on the camera, but it's actually 80-pound maxi macamelian, fresh rig as well, and it's actually split when it's snapped. So it must have been tied around some old braid or a rope or something, or a sharp rock. This is quite a small crab bait, this one. Just gonna do a simple overhead thump. It's still quite far for an overhead thump. And it's not really in the heaviest of ground either. I'll reel it in a bit until it gets into the kelp. This is another one of them marks where if you chuck too far you land on sand. Right, I think that's in the rough. Yeah, I've dragged it at least halfway back in there like. We'll have this chuck, and if this one doesn't produce then we'll move further up again and start chucking off the front where I know for a fact it's full of kelp off the front because I've fished this mark a lot of times. You might remember a video from this mark. It was one of the earlier ones I'd done. I think it was the start of this summer where I was plagued by seals. There was loads of seals popping around, if you remember, if anyone's seen it. And it was crap that day, I only had a rockland. But it's a lot later in the season now. So, be a few fish. I'm hoping that there's going to be a few codlins kicking around. I fished a match fishing, and when I got back to the weigh-in there was a handful of better fish that had came from further north, and a couple of lads I know as well have had some half decent results when they've been fishing a bit further north, sort of between the Howick, Craster and obviously up the Beadnell area. There seems to be more fish further north, so this is why we've come up here today. Anyway, I'll have to get another rig out, or I'll just tie a hook on the other rig where the line snapped and get another bait ready. But as I say, we're going to work our way up the ski as the tide ebbs off. What time was bottom water again? 10 to 2. And it's 12:05 now, so we've got an hour and 45 minutes until low tide, so still plenty of time. Just as I sat down there, I'm sure my rod just went over. I heard a bit of line clicking and I seen the rod twitch a bit. Yeah, that's quick that, like. It looks like another wrasse bite though. 100% a wrasse. Slack lined us as well. Yeah, I've got it. Well, plenty of action, people, which is good. I'd be surprised if this isn't another wrasse, like, but fingers crossed it's a codlin. Oh, it's stuck. Ground's evil, yeah. It's like ledges that I'm trying to reel over the top of. It's quite hard to get your fish over. Just see if this one swims its way out. It's well stuck though, I know that. Having a nightmare already, aren't I? Tell you what we'll do, we'll put it down, let it drag off, see if it swims its way out. I'll get that other rig sorted back out, and then we'll try and get this one out. Right, let's see if this one swam free. I doubt it, like. Got a feeling this is going to be another rig snap off, and I just keep bringing one dongle, and then every time I lose it, I'm without dongles for the rest of the session. Yeah, I didn't think that one would have swam free. If anything, I think it's made it worse. Oh, yeah, there you go. Another one gone. Ah, nightmare. Well, I haven't lost my dongle rig, so that's one positive, but I have lost the fish I was on. My hook on my dongle rig's bent, and I've lost my lead as well. But never mind, I'm going to move up a bit further, try and get into some thick kelp rather than trucking over the top of ledges. Pick it up and see if I can get this one on the hook. That rain's just starting there as well. I'll put it down and see if it comes back. I think it's going to be one of them frustrating days, guys, where you get loads of rattly little bites and kind of hook them. Seems to be a hell of a lot of wrasse about. There's definitely more wrasse than there is codlins from what I've seen. It's still tapping away slightly, so I'm going to get it in, get another bait put on, and then I'm going to move up to that next scale there. Yeah, nothing on there. I don't think anyway. Nah, no on there. Right, another fishless cast. That ground, evil. And that bait's been absolutely stripped as well, shredded, nothing left on it. Right, we'll get moved up and then I'll bring you back. I'm going to try one at distance just to see if that makes any difference. I'm not a massive fan of fishing at distance when I'm fishing over heavy ground, because it can be an absolute nightmare if you end up getting fish trying to get them back in. But sometimes it's what you've got to do if you're only getting small bites and stuff close in or getting stripped off. There we go. Now that we're on the front of the scare as well, no matter how far I chuck, it's into kelp, because we'll come past that sandy patch. And you might pick up a little bit of tide pull there as well. The fish moving in and out of the kelp beds. I think this is going to go right over, guys, because I've just had a bit of a strange nod. I dropped the rod tip back a bit. It's definitely going to start biting away at that. I'm actually going to get this one on my hands ready, just in case. Tell you what I'll do, I'll put it back in the stand, but once it's in the stand I'll tighten the drag. Oh, hang on, as soon as I let a bit slack off there, it just started to bite. Yeah, it's definitely something biting there. Right, never mind, we're not putting it in the stand. To be honest, I don't know if it's already hooked. And if you're having the dongle on, it might just be sitting there with the hook in the side of its mouth. It's very strange. There we go. It's a very, very, very finicky bite, this. I think I am going to leave it, even if it does pull over. Just let it hook itself. But it's still been slowly tapping away, so I've changed my opinion. It's either a codlin lying on or it's a lobster that's been just slowly pulling at it. But in that time that I've been waiting, I've managed to peel the crab, bait the next rig up, and I'm going to reel this one in and see what's happening with it. It's absolutely solid yet again. And there is a fish here actually, because it's nodding away now. So I've got a fish on. But for some reason, every time I'm getting fish on, I'm stuck solid. I don't want to pull it too hard in case I just pull the hook straight out of the fish's mouth. Felt like it moved a bit there. Yeah, I've got it. Oh yes. But I think we've got a codlin on finally. Try not to lose this one on the way in. That ground's so heavy. Even the small fish are tough to get in. Oh no. I'm getting stuck on a scale that's in front of us. Oh man. Guys. I'm just going to jump on the end of this scale and try and get this fish away. I'm locked in over the top of the scale that's running out to my left hand side under the water, which to be honest I didn't realise ran out that far. So I'm going to try and walk all the way around. It's a bit extreme, but I'm going to try and walk all the way around and get this one. Oh, it's just coming. Oh well, there you go. I don't need to walk all the way around. I've managed to get it. It's a lovely bright red cod, I think. Yeah, it is. It's a nice fish shot. There you go. That's as nice as they get, that. Bright red. And hooked perfectly with the dongle. There you go. Nice codlin. Maybe 2.5. Look at the colours on that, man. And look the way it's hooked with a dongle rig as well. Just in the scissors of its mouth, but in the hard part as well. That wasn't going nowhere. So we'll get this one unhooked and get it put straight back. Proper summer goldfish. And I'll just show you I'm going back. That's what we'll come for. Just stick them straight down there, look. Straight off. Brilliant stuff, well happy with that. Get this next bait put out and hopefully get a few more of them. So that's the next chuck out after I've just had that codlin. And Faz is into a nice codlin as well by the looks of things. It's quite a way away though, so I might have to zoom in a bit so you can see it. But if anyone was wondering how I can sort of tell the difference between codlin bites and wrasse bites, it's just one of them things when you fish the rocks for years and years, you sort of build up experience and you get to know really. I'm not always right, but majority of the time you can tell the difference between a wrasse bite, which is very quick and erratic, and a cod bite, which is generally slow and like heavy lunges. So Faz has just had a codlin there. Faz has just had a wrasse there. I'll just spin the camera around and show you. I don't know if you can see it there, I'll zoom it in a bit, but he's got a wrasse. So like I was just saying before, there's a lot of wrasse about at the minute. Say on one of the previous videos, when I was fishing with the two Scottish lads from Eyemouth, they had actually come down to Northumberland because on the stretch of coast that they usually fish, all they're getting is wrasse and not getting any codlins at all. So there does seem to be a lot of wrasse this year. There's always a lot of wrasse around in the summer, but there seems to be extra amount this year. Yet there's not as many codlins around this summer, so. But they're a great sporting fish. They fight really hard, especially when they get to a decent size. It's just a little bit harder to hook than the codlins that just take the bait straight down. Anyway, I'm going to get another bait strapped onto this dongle, and I suppose it's dongle versus J-hook now, because the first fish I had, the wrasse, that was on just a normal J-hook, and then that codlin was on the dongle rig. But I tell you what it is, if all the codlins are hooked that way with the dongle rig, right in the jaw of the mouth where it's solid, where you know it's never going to go anywhere, I'll probably continue using these without a shadow of a doubt. Right, I'll get this one baited up. Right, well I never got to bite that chuck, but I only overhead thumped it. And Faz has just pulled the codlin in. That looks to be, it's on size like, probably about £1.5 pounds. They're nice and red. So this chuck back with the dongle again. I'm going to chuck a bit further out like I did the last time when I had that codlin there a couple of chucks ago. And see if I can repeat it. Right, here we go. God, that's a long way out that. That's not going to be fun having to drag a fish back. But like I said before, if that's where the fish are, that's what you've got to do. It's all part of the fun, innit? It's all part of the challenge. Oh, there's another bite. Let's see what we've got going on here. Another strange bite with a dongle. Doesn't feel like it's writhing away, but you can feel something moving around. So I wonder if they just, they bite, they hook themselves, and then they sort of just sit there. I'm just going to reel in and see if there's anything lying on. No, there's nothing there. Bit of a strange one, that. I'll stick it down, I'll give it 5 minutes. I'll get the other bait sorted, see if anything comes back with that. That bait's been absolutely hammered by small fish. Got a good feeling about this chuck because that seemed to sink for quite a while. I think I've hit a deeper patch of water there, and I don't know why it is, but you do well in shallow ground. And for some reason, whenever you hit a deep gully or a deep hole or you're fishing deep water, you just get that little bit of anticipation. I don't know what it is. I suppose the mind tricks you to think the bigger fish sort of hang around in deeper water, which I suppose they do really. When you think of the Shetlands and Norway and stuff, a lot of the big fish are in deeper water. And even in the UK, the majority of the big fish come off the boats, don't they, let's be honest. So anyway, I'm talking shite. We'll see what happens in the deeper water, eh? Just getting a little bit of a rattle there. It's slowed down a bit, to be honest, but it is slack water at the minute. It's bang on. So hopefully on the turn of the tide, when the flood starts, the bites will start picking up again. But the fact that I'm getting bites still over slack water is pretty good, even if they are only small bites. Yeah, that's a little bit better. A little bit better. Not unbelievable like, but see what's going on. I think we're due to get some pretty bad weather very soon. It's starting to darken now, like the sky's going very grey just behind us. I think the heavens will open. Nah, still nothing, so I'm going to drag this in. Get the next one put out. Can I just say as well, if you're one of these people that hates going out in the rain, then don't let that stop you, because we checked the weather forecast for today and the Met Office said that we had 40 and 50% precipitation until 12 o'clock, and from 1 o'clock onwards it was going to be 90%, and we've literally had about 5 minutes rain so far, and we've been out for about 3 hours now. So there you go. It's a nightmare for the forecast. Sometimes tells you it's going to bleat down all day and then you just get the odd shower. So if you're one of these that looks at a forecast and goes, nah, I'm not going to bother, sometimes you can be missing out on a fishing session where it might not even be raining. And if it is raining, all you have to do is just get a good waterproof jacket in there. This is great. This is one of the sea level Hydrotex jackets. It's thin, really thin. I'm sure I just had a bite when I turned my back there. And it just packs into your box. Oh, slack line there. Champion, that's what we want. Oh yes. Go on. That's a good bite, that. Oh yes, and we're in. Oh, stuck again, man. Having a nightmare getting these fish in. Anyway, what I was saying is these jackets just pack away into your box. And then if it does rain, you can just stick them on and you won't overheat and stuff like that because there's nothing to them. They've got tape zips and everything. So check out these sea level jackets. Anyway, I've got a fish on here and it's stuck and I've got it moving again. Right, this one's definitely a codlin. I'll try and wind a bit faster, see if I can get it to the top of the water. Well, that's a start of the flood. Fish straight away. Oh, he's on top of the water already, about 40 yards out. Had to beast that one there, I can't risk getting them stuck. Yeah, another nice bright red codlin. Exactly what we came for. Oh, lovely, that's even redder than the first one I had, and it's a bit bigger. Lovely plump summer fish. Look at the colour of that. Wow. That's what we're after. Beautiful. Bright red, Northumberland prime summer codlin. And he's absolutely necked the dongle right down. But the dongle rigs are doing the trick. So this one is definitely not going to go back, so I'll have to knock this one because it's very deep hooked. I'll just give you a closer look at it. There you go. That one will be knocking on £3. Beautiful fish, that man. I love it. Honest, it's my favourite type of fishing. How could you not love having to pull prime red summer codlins through the kelp, especially when they look like that? Champion. We'll get our next bait out and see if we can get a few more. I'm just going to get my scales out my box just to show you I'm not talking shite and I actually do know what I'm looking at when it comes to measuring the size of fish. So I'm going to guess and see he's about £3-ish, give or take a couple ounce. Let's see how close I am. I'll just zero that off there. There you go, so £2.14, so he's 2 ounces away from £3, so as I said, he's pretty much £3. So I've got a pretty good guesstimate when it comes to the size of cod, I think because I've had that many of them over the years. And he is about the same colour as my jacket. There you go. That's what we're all looking for. Right, I'm just going to do a quick bait demo on the dongle rig. So obviously that last chuck, the dongle rig is what that cod was gut hooked with. And before anyone comments and says that the redfish are full of worms and all the rest of it, they've got a few more worms than your normal fresh run winter cod. But when they swallow the hooks right down and they're dead anyway, there's no point in putting them back. You might as well take them home, fillet them, and obviously just remove all the worms and then they'll be fine. I'll not be eating it, I'm allergic to fish, but I'll give it to someone who I know will make good use of it. Anyway, that bait that came back on the dongle from the last chuck is still perfect, to be fair, but I never ever chuck straight back out with a bait like that. So I'm going to top up with just half a crab because I'm being tight with my bait. I think you've got to be tight with a crab at the minute, the way it's going. So anyways, what I do, and again I'm no expert at this, I think I'm just getting a bite there. My line looks like it's dropped slack. 2 seconds. I'll just have to keep an eye on that, and if it does go over, I'll have to spin the camera around. Alright, so like I say, I'm not claiming to be an expert on these because I've only just started using them, but they seem to be working for me. So I put a twin baiting needle flush to the hook like that, and then before I put bait on, or obviously in this case I'm just topping up, I wrap a little bit of elastic round first, and then that allows you to just let go. And then what I'll do is I'll just get my next half a crab, just placed on the back like that. Obviously pinch it down in place and just gently wrap the elastic around it, like so. There's that range just starting. And once that's in place, what I've been doing is I've just been going inside the hook like that and up a couple of times, and that stops it from sliding up and down and keeps it next to the hook. Snap it off, and then what you can do is you can just get it with your thumb and your finger and just slide it up like that, and that's that done. And that rain has just come down heavy, absolutely pissing down. Jesus Christ. Well, there you go. I told you it was going to come, and it didn't half come. Have a look at how heavy it is. I don't know if you can see it there on the water. It's absolutely bouncing down. Nice. That's why we're talking about the rain starting. I'm pretty sure I've just had a bit of a lunge over. Yeah, I have. So it doesn't put the fish off. Not too sure what's happening with this bite. Just put the rod back down and see if it comes back. Just getting another good bite here. See if I can get this one hooked up as well. Whoa, that's a proper bite, that. Gotta be hooked. Then it, oh yes, it's on, definitely. Alright, Howie, then let's have some of this. Oh yes, fish on like, but it's stuck. This has been the trend today. Every fish I hook, it's just stuck in the kelp. And you don't want to pull them too hard in case you break them off, you know. So sometimes you just got to be patient with them a bit. And that's what happens, you pull them out and the hooks pull. A nightmare. So that's another fish lost. God, lost a few fish today. Thing is though, when they get them G hooks in the lip and you're trying to pull them out of snags, a lot of the time when using braid, there's that much pressure from pulling out the snag, it just pulls a hook out of fish's mouth. So this is why I'm experimenting with the dongles a bit more, because I seem to catch them in the scissors or right at the back of the throat. I think that would have been a decent codlin the way it rived the rod out my hands. Nightmare. And get the next one out and try again. I'm stuck again? Yeah, I'm having a nightmare here, like wherever I'm chucking it just keeps getting stuck every time I get a fish. Well, there's fish in the ground, but getting them out's another problem. I'm clutching at straws waiting for a bite to come back on that bait, so I'm going to get it in and get the second last chuck out. You can feel it when you're reeling in, it's just bouncing over like solid rock. It's not like kelp beds. I think that's why I'm struggling to get the fish out, but as it happens, that's where the fish seem to be running, so I'm going to keep chucking into it like, and just hope that they swallow the hook right down and swim themselves over the ledges. I've got this one, which is a nice big bait, and one more after that. So I've got 2 more chances to get codlin number 3
There's
out.
the last bait. As we say, last chance saloon, last supper, whatever you want to call it. But that's a belter, and hopefully that's the one that'll land us cod number 3.
They just seem to be hitting it and not coming back. There's a small possibility that's lying on. I'm going to get it in anyway and have my last chuck on here and then move off, because the flood's coming in pretty quick and I want to be able to chuck off here so I can get into the same ground, and then we'll move back. And obviously if I do get a fish on the last chuck, I'll have to just battle with reeling it over the top of all this. Yeah, I think it's definitely a ledge. I've actually got a fish line on as well, so this could be cod number 3. If I get it in. Doesn't feel as big as the last 2 that I had. But it's definitely a fish. Just trying to get it in over all that ground. Yeah, it's cod number 3, thankfully. And it's another lovely bright red codlin. Again, legal size. This one's quite small and he's not too deep hooked, so we'll get him off, slip straight back, and we'll get the last chuck out, and maybe we'll get cod number 4. So yeah, I was actually wrong. This one that I've just gotten out, that's about £2, has actually swallowed the hook right down. So he's going to have to be kept as well. But as I say, I'll make sure they go to good use. And the last chuck's out there, so that's 3 codlins and a wrasse I've had out today. But I do honestly think if I had landed all the fish that I've hooked and haven't been able to get in, I'd have had a good bag of fish today, like, without a shadow of a doubt. But that's the way it goes when you're fishing the rough ground. I've still had a great day. Oh, I'm getting a bite there as well, just whilst I'm talking to the camera. It's a big bait though. I'll let it just choke on it, eh? So, didn't get anything on the last chuck, but we did both get good bites. So that's the end of this session. If you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe, it's much appreciated and it helps me out loads. So, a great session, quite frustrating though. Action-packed, loads of good bites. Hooked quite a few fish that I couldn't get in over that ledge. God knows how many I would have landed if I had landed every single one that I hooked. But total tally, 3 codlins and a wrasse for me, and a codlin and a wrasse for Faz. So we've still had a canny day out and had fish, which is what it's all about, and we've been kept on the toes with some fantastic bites. But like I say, until the next time, thanks as always for watching. Tight lines. And just before I shut off the video completely, we've just been gutting these fish. And if you remember earlier on, when I got snagged up with a fish, and when I reeled in, I had lost about 5 inches of the hook. There it is there, in that fish's stomach. So that's the second time I caught that fish today, but I only landed it once. Until the next time, everyone.